Unformer. Stories of those who changed the game. Hello everyone. This is your host, Dimitri Slusar, the creator and founder of the Admix Reality web platform, a tool that helps show UST technology in real time anywhere in the world, right on a smartphone screen. Today we have a man with a unique story as our guest, Anvar from Uzbekistan. Back in the mid-60s, he became passionate about technology, going from a TV repairman to a pioneer who built the first internet networks in his country. Then, in 2014, he joined the development of UST technology. For many years now, Anvar has been using Admix Reality to clearly and effectively share Anatoly Unitsky's ideas with people. This is a conversation about the technologies that change lives and the people who make it happen. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, Anvar? Where are you from, and how long have you been supporting the development of UST technology?
I'm from Uzbekistan, from the city of Namangan. As they say, I'm a tech guy. I've been involved with technology since I was a child. In the mid-60s, we had a television at home. On our street, in our neighborhood, there was only one TV, ours. My father bought it, and when a good show was on, everyone would come over to watch. One day, during a great show, the television broke down. My father asked me to run and get the TV repairman. I ran, and he came. He was a good elderly man. He tinkered with the TV, and then he told me, "Go to the canal and catch me a frog." I went and caught a frog, brought it to him, and he took 2 wires out of a box with round holes at the back of the TV. He tied the frog to the wires by its 2 legs, and the television started working again. He said, "It will work until tomorrow. I'll come back then. I don't have the spare parts right now, so I had to do it this way." It turned out a capacitor had broken, and he used this method instead. I said to my father, "Dad, let me be his apprentice. I'm going to fix TVs. I'll be a master." I was still in school at the time. My father agreed, and I became a TV repairman's apprentice. I studied for 2 years while also attending school, and then I became a TV repairman myself. After school, I wanted to become a cosmonaut. I went to Baikonur but couldn't pass the exam and had to return. I had to find a job. I went to work as a TV repairman at a workshop known as the Blue Dome. There were such workshops during the Soviet era. I went there, but they told me they couldn't hire me because I was a minor. I wasn't 18 yet. I missed a year of school and needed something to do until the next year. That's when I saw a man working on a telephone pole near our house. My father was talking to him. When we were at home, my father said, "They have a job at the telephone station. Go to them and see if you can get hired." I went, and they took me on right away. They were opening a new workshop to repair phones, and I became a telephone master. In our region, it was the only workshop of its kind, and I worked there. Later, I joined the Army. When I came back, I returned to the same place, and they told me they were installing new stations, international automatic stations. Before, if you wanted to make a long-distance call, we'd dial 07, and the operators would connect us. But these were automatic. When you dialed 8, you'd be connected to the international station and could dial further yourself. I thought, okay, I'll go there. I used to be a mechanic, so I'll go. I was fascinated by it, and later I went to study. During the Soviet Union, there were 2 communications institutes, one in Kiev and one in Tashkent. I enrolled in the Tashkent Communications Institute, studied by correspondence, earned my degree, and became an engineer in that field. After that, in 1984, the Algorithm Factory started producing computers. I had the opportunity to keep pace with the development of this new technology. So I started working with computers after phones. I began to figure out these computers, BK, Spectrum, Atari. That's what they were called back then. I became a master. Starting in 1994, I began building a company together with a Turkish company. That's how we launched the internet. Then, due to health reasons, I had to leave my job. I retired. That was in December 2013. Since I was the one who brought the internet to Uzbekistan, I knew it well. I had a meeting with Anatoly Eduardovich Unitsky via Skype. When I was online on Skype, I received a message that this world-renowned person had organized a conference. I saw Anatoly Eduardovich Unitsky conducting a conference with headphones and a microphone, and he said, "We want to implement string technologies in life, and I am already over 60. I don't want to lose this technology." So from February 2014, I started investing in UST.
And you gradually kept pace with the times. After getting to know UST Technology and Anatoly Eduardovich Unitsky, you joined the project in February 2014, as you said.
Yes, I started investing in February. My first investment was in February of 2014. Since then, I've been doing it monthly without fail.
I'm so glad there are people like you. I'm sure there are many of us who support this technology no matter what, despite any difficulties or obstacles, or any other factors that might influence or try to change our opinion. I also joined the project in 2014, also in February. I registered on February 21st. I was open to new things and was searching for an opportunity. As soon as I saw the potential of this transport technology, I immediately got involved. I quickly became an investor and am still one today. I support the technology, its development, and its popularization in every way I can. And how did you learn about Admix Reality?
I think you were presenting in Germany in 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, at Inatrans.
Yes, it was in 2018. If I'm not mistaken, you were promoting this technology back then. I think you were also filming some videos. After that, you gave a link to register for the app on Google Play. I've been working with this technology ever since.
Since 2018. Essentially, you've been with it from the very beginning. When the app, then called Adva Hunter, was officially released, you were there from the start. Yes, we did take part and help the company in 2018. That was Innotrans in Berlin, a major exhibition of innovations and achievements in the field of transport. We really tested the app there, and it proved to be very effective, so it went on to be developed further. You've been using this tool for a long time, and I'm sure now is the perfect time to talk about your experience. Please share how and why you started using Adva Hunter back then, and now Admix Reality. Did you have any doubts then or now? Were there any difficulties at the start? I'm most curious about Admix Reality.
You know, I'm a positive person. I never think negatively. I always move forward. If I take something on and if there are any issues, I will personally look for them and suggest my own solutions. I had no doubts. I always think positively, so I took it on. I showed it to my close friends first.
And how do you use this tool in practice now? In what situations does it help you the most? How do you use it? More in personal conversations, presentations, or through content? How does it work for you?
It's for personal meetings. I use this app daily. When I'm sitting with someone or in a taxi or traveling to another city or meeting someone for lunch, I'm always in close contact with this app. I always show everyone I meet, "Look, this technology exists. See, it will look like this." I just show them. I say, you know, when you're in a taxi or a bus stuck in traffic, people get frustrated and ask, "When will this end?" I walk forward and show them on my phone, "Look, this technology exists. Let's support it." When this technology is all over the world, there won't be any traffic jams like this. I always use this opportunity. I use this opportunity at any moment.
That's a very interesting story and approach. I take it you mostly use Admix Reality with strangers rather than with friends?
Yes, more with strangers.
Me too, mostly with strangers. And how do they react?
They're impressed by it. I leave them my business cards. As they say, I don't force it on them. I just leave a card and go. Those who reach out to me later, I explain everything to them when we schedule a personal meeting.
Were there any specific results? For example, interest in the project, registrations, meetings, or investments?
I always use Admix Reality to offer a business, and on average, I have a 40% conversion rate for sign-ups to my team.
I've noticed that many of our users think that Admix Reality is an exclusive marketing tool for the Micron global platform and that others can't use it. But that's not true. Admix Reality is a separate platform for those who are involved in attracting funding for UST technology and popularizing it, regardless of which fund they belong to. You know, a question just came to mind. Have there been any moments that particularly stood out or inspired you?
There was a case like that in Dubai. I showed the app to the cousin of the Emir of Sharjah. It was such an unexpected meeting. I got to meet these great people. I showed them, and they really liked it, but they couldn't go against their laws. The app itself interested and intrigued them, the fact that you could show something like that. They had only allocated the land. Nothing had been built yet, but the app could already show the technology in real time. They really liked it, and it was a huge success. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't meet with people. As I said, it's in my nature. When I go outside, whoever I meet or talk to, I always show them, and they are all impressed.
I wanted to go back to your story about the demonstration in the Emirates and ask a question. Did I understand correctly that after you demonstrated the app, these people wanted to learn more about the technology, meet with Anatoly Eduardovich, and showed interest in continuing the dialogue?
Yes, exactly.
There was a time, right around Inatrans 2018 in Berlin. My friend and I were sitting in a cafe, and we got to talking with the people at the table next to us. My friend spoke good German, and they were speaking German. I watched them talk for about 40 minutes. He pulled out some brochures and was telling them all about the technology. I was sitting there and said to one of the guys, "Come outside with me," just in broken English, almost with gestures, not really knowing what to say. We went outside, where there was a crosswalk. I launched the app, placed the track structure, and showed him how the vehicle moved. Our friends came over. Less than a minute passed, and he said, "You showed and explained more to me in less than a minute than your friend who talked for almost an hour with a brochure, and I didn't understand what he wanted from me. Now I understand everything without unnecessary words." And that effect really works, just as you said. The land is there, but there's nothing built yet. No technical documents, no visual documentation. But Admix Reality can already show you what it could look like, right here and now in this location. That's really amazing. And what's more, the people we showed it to, they bought tickets to Inatrans the next day and visited the stand. A 3-section U-car was standing outside, and they came to the exhibition together. So, even between people who have a language barrier and barely understand each other, you can show them something without words and convey the essence of it to a person without saying anything. After you show it silently, the person will often ask, "What is this? Where is this?" They become interested and ask, "How can this be? Is this possible where we live? We need this. We have problems, and we need a solution like this."
I've noticed that when we worked with brochures were a thing of the past. Everyone works with a screen now.
Yes, with a smartphone.
With technology.
Yes.
A video clip, a 1-minute view, that's enough. It explains everything. It's true. People grasp the concept faster.
I had a case like this when I was in Kiev. I called a taxi and went to the hotel where I was staying. I started talking to the young taxi driver while we were driving. I said, "Want me to show you something? I'm sure you haven't seen anything like it." "Of course, that sounds interesting." We got out of the car, and I showed him the system driving near the shopping center. He was absolutely blown away. His eyes were wide and his mouth was agape. I let the person use the application themselves, to turn it, to place it, to look with their own hands on my smartphone. I explained how it all worked. We exchanged contacts and agreed to meet. And just like you said, I don't hold a full meeting right away. I give the person a chance. If they're really interested, they can take the next steps. I did my part, the entry point, in the dialogue and generating interest, and then it's up to the person. If they show interest, there will be a dialogue, and there will definitely be a result. He called me just a week later with a complaint. He said, "Why did I bring you to where I live?" I said, "Well, listen, I had to come there. I was staying in a hotel, so I came to the place where I was temporarily living." "What's the problem?" "You know, now whenever I drive or walk by this shopping center on my day off, I remember what you showed me here, how it drives. This form of transport, I can't get it out of my head." He said, "I'm coming to see you." I was already back in Odessa. He drove over 500 kilometers to see me. We talked, spent some time together, and he became an investor right there on the spot. And there are so many stories like that. And for me, it clicked then that association is important to people. It's what I had always assumed. For example, when my team and I were making visualization videos, a lot of the video visualizations that exist today with UST technology were made by me and my team. We would film with drones in different cities and countries, film streets on camera from human height, and make visualizations. This way, I saw how people reacted, for example, to what it looks like in Marina Gorka in the video, even though the R&D center in Sharjah did not exist yet. Yes, we are in our own cities, in our own countries, in different time zones. And yes, people are interested. Yes, it helps them understand the concept in general. But not everyone is a visual person, and not everyone can imagine it without additional tools, like Admix Reality, to visualize what it could be like in their city, in their area. This is how it works. It gets the best and most effective results associatively. When a person sees it in their city, on a street they know, even if they don't live there, or maybe even in their own courtyard, that's what works powerfully. And that's the main strength of Admix Reality. Thanks to this tool, we can show people who live here and now, which allows them to make a decision more effectively and more consciously.
I'd define the word visualization this way. You shouldn't do business blindly. I sometimes say don't do it blindly. When you listen to something, it's one feeling, but when you look at it, it's another. That's the whole difference. Don't do it blindly, do it visually. By seeing and looking at the product, you can judge it differently. Listening to it will lead your thoughts in one direction, but when you see it, a person's thinking changes. That's human nature. They won't believe it until they see it. As they say, I won't believe it until I see it. That's what it all comes down to.
Please share your feelings. What do you experience when you show others the possibilities through Admix Reality? Does it inspire you, excite you, give you energy, or a sense of confidence? And what kind of inner response do you feel after a conversation where you've used Admix Reality? What do you as a partner feel?
I turn into a child. Every time I show it to people, I feel like a child. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Do you have any advice you'd like to give to those who are just starting out or who have doubts about the effectiveness of Admix Reality?
Drop everything else and dive into this app. Everything else can wait. First, study it and apply this technology in your life. That's my advice for newcomers. First, delve into this technology, apply it in a concrete way in your life, and then deal with other things. Become a professional at using this tool and only then move on to something else.
Thank you for that advice, Anvar. Be sure to make it a priority for your team to use this in practice and see how it works. Because once you've had the experience, you can easily help your team do the same thing you do. They'll find their own style, their own approach, and they'll see their own effectiveness. But it will definitely work for them. And for you as a leader, it will strengthen communication within your team and take your business to a new level with a different kind of quality. I guarantee that with Admix Reality, it will happen exactly like this, because it's been tested and it works in a very exciting way. It's so motivating when we use the app and when our partners start using it. I'm sincerely grateful to you for finding the time, for sharing your experience, your important thoughts, and your valuable advice for newcomers and for everyone watching this interview. I'm sure that everyone who watches will find something useful for themselves, see themselves in some way, and want to express themselves. Thank you very much.
And thank you for inviting me to this interview and for trusting me. I, of course, have a lot of respect for your team and for all our partners who live in different countries around the world. Of course, we are grateful for Admix Reality. This tool is very timely. People really needed it. Some people understand this. Every person is unique, like a snowflake, and every person is unique, like their fingerprints. Therefore, everyone sees their own vision in this tool, and I wish everyone to apply Admix Reality in their lives in the best way possible.
Thank you very much for your heartfelt wishes, for finding the time, and for giving so much attention to me and to the viewers who will watch this episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's stay in touch.
I wish you success.
Unformer. Stories of those who change the game.